Welcome to a very special episode of Ruko School. When I woke up this morning, I had no idea I would make a video like this, but I had been challenged. Not like those Facebook challenges where you have to sit in a bucket full of ice cubes and wait for them to melt or give up or something stupid like that. A real challenge. And actually, Jason from SE Lock and Key, who started the whole lock force thing, he had received a mayday call on Twitter from someone who had to take a lock like this apart because apparently he couldn't lock his door and needed to do an emergency service on it. But thing is, these things are not really designed to be taken apart. They are full of parts under spring tension, and there's a reason there's a paper cover on this third screw here, because they want to make sure that when you take the screw out, all warranty is void, because if this lock stops functioning and they can see the screw has been out, they know that you most likely yourself gave it a try and didn't know how to put it together. And I must say it's been an interesting morning, because I normally don't take these apart. I mean, the cost of labor to service something like this compared to the retail price for a lock like this, or even more the wholesale price for a lock like this, don't make it affordable to do any means of service to this. So if something like that starts to fail, get it replaced immediately, put in a brand new, then you have a fresh warranty, and you should never have a lock that fails. It can be very expensive if it fails, and if it's on a door that you need for a fire escape, it can be fatal if it fails. So as soon as your lock starts to act up, get them replaced before it becomes a critical thing. So anyway, having a degree in engineering and an open challenge like this, I decided that to try to do a persistent reassembly on this lock. I built this jig this morning. It's just some scrap wood, and to hold this spindle in position, I actually cheated and put another lock in behind it to hold the spindle in position, because that's going to be a critical part later on in the reassembly. So without further ado, let's put this on the table and let's get started. As always, when you are watching the Ruko School, there will be some educational information, and I'll actually try to explain how the parts in this lock are working, because I think that will be a big help if you need to put a lock like this together, because when you know the function, then it's also easier to see how things go together. So the first part that needs to go in, because we need to build this from the ground up, and there are so full of parts that cross each other and go on top of each other. So the first thing that we need to assemble is the parts that you use to disable the locking latch function. And we have three parts for that. We have this plastic piece that's actually a spacer, and let's make sure that this part that pokes out is level with this opening here, so it's actually just riding down there. So we need to put this one in, and if we have a look in here, we can see there's this small triangle here, and the tip of this spring here is actually riding on that triangle, and that is what gives it the characteristic clicks when it's either enabled or disabled, and it actually go and rest in the corner here. And as we can hear now, you have this really nice clicky function. So this is the part that goes at the very bottom. If you don't get that one in here, you'll have to take parts out to get it back. And the way it actually works here, as we can see, if look here, we can see that this is the latch part, and this one actually slides behind and keeps it retracted, and then it releases. So clever. And I mean, everything in this lock is so. I was so amazed. I haven't actually before this challenge given much thought to what things are, because as I said, labor is too intense in this country to go and service a lock like this, and they're not exactly like they're antiques or anything. They are available in every hardware store. The next part is this one. This is the one that will do the transfer of the motion when you turn the cylinder. It will retract all three of these latches, both the anti-shim and the door handle and the locking latch. So this one we put in here, and as we can see later when we put the hub in here, that it will push this one back. But as we can see, due to this angle here, it doesn't really do much of a retraction down here, so we need to put in an assistant, and this little do that, so to see. And now we get a really nice retraction motion down by the door handle as well. So we put that here. And the next is really an engineering marvel, I must say. That's the whole anti-shim thing. And it consists of 5 parts. The first 3 are here, and as we can see, this one actually rides in here, and this is the part that the end user can take in or out to hand it left or right. So this just fits in here either way around, and as we can see here, it actually slides here. And if we look underneath here, we can actually see there's a small cutout, and that cutout is for a double action spring that looks like this. So if we gently, and as we can see here, this part here actually engages with the locking latch. It fits around it, and it actually makes sure that when you push the locking latch back, it pulls this anti-shim latch in with it as well. And as we can see, when I'll just try to install these here, put this one in, and if we put this one in here, and we can see that it will pull that back. So what we need to do with this anti-shim thing, we need to make sure that when this one is pushed in, that this one can't be pushed in. So, but before I do that, I'm going to use one of my little cheating tricks from my jig. So as we know, we have this front one, and I'm actually gonna mount it the other way around here in the front, just loosely, because then it's gonna keep things from flying about, and it can be done without it, but as I said, there's no need to do 100 retakes on this video, because things fly apart and I have to crawl around on the floor trying to find the parts that I'm needing. So I'll just do this for now, just to work smarter, not harder. So and as we can see, these little screw heads are actually also here to level this up, because otherwise it will try to drop, and that will make this one pop up, and then it just skips over all the parts. So I'm not sure if we should zoom in for this next part. Let me give it a try. Maybe it's too much. No, I think that'll work. And as we saw with this little cutout, so we actually need to take this spring here, and that goes on this post under here, right in that groove that we have there, and then we put this magic part on top, here, and then we swing the spring around and put it in here. So what we have now is actually a double action function on this spring, because first of all, the bottom part of the spring will keep this one pushed forward, and the other part will actually make this one try to push up, and as we can see, it actually goes behind now, so you can't shim the locking latch. And the only thing that prevents it from popping all the way up is actually this part here that's going forward. So it is using itself to to hold this in, and as we can see, this one really don't want to be stabilized, so I just think I'll put this, take everything out again, and then I'll just put the tip of this and insert it into the front guide to help a bit, but it can't be done if you have like 10 hands or extreme amounts of patience, but zoom back out again. There we go. Now that you know the function of this, now we just need me to actually get around to get it done. So this is where I should maybe have stopped the video and made a second attempt, but I think it's more realistic to actually make you see how complicated these things can be. Should be another convincing to not try to take it apart yourself. So there we go. Now this one is resting in there. The next is these three parts here that these two are supposed to align here on around this, and this is actually the part that the tailpiece from the oval and the thumb turn will engage with, and this top part is the one that's taking care of going onto this thing here on the locking latch, and the bottom one is the one that engages with this part that moves back here, so this takes care of the handle. What you have here is actually plastic these days, but it used to be metal, so there's a good chance if you have an old lock that there's two metal parts, but maybe it was too expensive, but never mind, it works, that's all that matters. And to prevent people from manipulating this part through the screw holes, there's this anti-tamper thing that we install here, so that blocks the access to the hub from outside, so you can't put a screwdriver in and wiggle it around, so that's what that part does. So it's not essential, it's just an extra security precaution. So next we are looking at the springs for pulling the two latches back out, and they're two different. This one is for the locking latch and this one is for the door handle latch. So let's start with this one. It goes behind here and then around the post up here, the one that the screws go in, and then it actually have to go all the way back here, just to see. So it is going here, behind that part, around here and over here. Next we come to this very critical part of the assembly, the door handle part, and first we drop this one in, and then we have these 3 parts here. That is the spindle hub. This is the one that pushes onto this round piece here to do the retraction. And here we have the heavy spring that makes sure that your door handle is flopping back up to horizontal when you release it. We don't use door hardware with springs inside, so we fully rely on the springs within inside the lock to retract the door handle back to horizontal position. So this one goes on top of here, and it fits in here, and it don't want to stay in there. That's one of the parts that really feel the need to escape whenever it has a chance, and for that reason I have this fixed handle here, because that does keep it somewhat in place. And next is this spring here. That spring can go into multi places, but there's only one place that's the right, and that's to give it the necessary tension to be able to pull this back out, because once you open it with the cylinder, then it will have to use this end piece here to push both the little doodad and the long part back into neutral position. So this one needs to be ultra strong. Let's see if we can zoom in about here and tilt the camera a bit. And then this actually needs to go on here and on the outside of that post here, and then it needs to be rotated all the way around and forced in here. So that's the position, and that's why these two come flying out as soon as you touch the lid on these locks. And regardless how fast eyes you have, you don't see where it was before it flew out. So let's see if we can now get this pushed in, and I think we're there. And then we take these 3. Sorry about the background noise. That's actually Amelia, who managed to find one of her little plastic balls, and she wants me to have it, so I should be the proud cat father right now and stop the video and accept the gift from her, but for the purpose now I'll just pretend that I ignore her, and I will just put this lock back together first, so I can attend her. Oh, actually it's Gustav who have found a ball. It's not Amelia, but yeah. Very nice. So let's see if we get this one back together, and now we can release the front here, our helper. One off, and let's check our functionality, see if it's completely, that doesn't budge, something's not in position, so we need to loosen the screws a bit. And push them. I guess I have to take it apart again. This one got on the wrong side of that retraction thing, but anyway, I hope you found this helpful. It's a 20-minute video, so but I mean, besides from something that got on the wrong side here, everything is in their position, so all I have to do now is just gently take the top off and just make sure that everything can move freely, and then push it back in. But I hope this helps, and be can't be done without this jig, and basically you just need to hold it in your hand like that, because that prevents these from, because as soon as these drop here, they will push everything out of their position. So yeah, but that's all for this one. There'll be more videos coming soon. I have a lot of different unboxing, both tools and some locks that I want to show you. So stay tuned for that, and have a great day.